This don't make no sense to everybody.
Son, let's just get in, do what the fuck we gotta do, make it clean. Goldendebateshow, earlymorningmob.com.
Hit him with that.
The website's down for a couple days, but when it comes back
it's
up,
all good.
I guarantee you it's going to be better than ever. So we're
shining,
better than ever. Golden. Like, comment, share, and download.
Hit him with that golden knowledge, truth, and information. Fuck you, Vamps.
Like, comment, share, and the download. Word. Pennies everywhere. Pennies for your thought. Yeah. Do it. 2-minute news is down, but I heard they're coming back, so I found a little replacement for right now. So we'll get it in with my man. 60-second news.
This other guys, what they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
Report claims Syrian government killed 11,000 detainees while Congress moves to keep drone warfare in the hands of the CIA nation. New radioactive water leak discovered at Fukushima plant. Yes, they'll have to raise unacceptable levels of radiation. Obama seeks to bypass Congress to lift Iranian sanctions. These turds and their gimmicks. Netanyahu threatens to teach Hamas a lesson very soon as FEMA accelerates preparations for pandemics. Mine clears abducted in Afghanistan while bomb targets busting Shiite pilgrims in Pakistan. And the Express News TV crew is killed by the Taliban as the TSA threatens a man for parody broke video. Come on, man. Russian forces hunt for black widows as snowstorms hit the U.S. East Coast. U.S. Army considers replacing thousands of troops with robots while the rich get richer and the poor suffer the most. Iran sends 2 warships to the Atlantic while bombings kill 28 people in Iraq. Biden tells Ford, thank you for saving our ass. Man, I'm telling you, this cat needs to lay off the crack.
So this next thing we're going to get into is pretty funny. It's Orson Welles.
World News in 60 seconds.
It's,
yeah,
you know, famous Orson Welles, but he's trying to do a commercial for wine, and he's already drunk, everybody.
He's already twisted.
No, I mean really bad. You'd think it's a comedy shit, but it's really, really not.
102, take 1. With overlap, action please. Action Orson, please.
Just do anything?
No, it's sorry, cut. You're rolling. 102, take 2.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
Me gusta el vino.
There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne,
I have a case of fermented Assis Pumanti in the basement.
102, take 3. Action please.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson, catacombs. And this other guys, what they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
You know, it's like what people call, I was paranoid. I think what paranoia is people that when you get high on marijuana, I think what paranoia is people who just are, they're getting too much information for them to manage. And they haven't done such a
Tell them where to
good
go
job.
so the information doesn't overwhelm.
EarlyMorningMob.com. This is the Golden Debate Show. In cahoots with the Golden Show. Also in cahoots with the Greatest Show.
It gets me paranoid.
Like, comment, share, and download.
Indicative of this, you don't really know how you feel about yourself. You don't really know how you feel about life. You're looking at life through barriers because you're trying to not see everything, because you're trying to focus on one particular thing with your life, or trying to get your shit together, and you don't realize how many things about your life really are freaking you out and bothering you until you smoke pot, and pot just makes you examine them. You know, we as people, we like to avoid shit that bugs us. That's why, like, when people like overeat to get over some childhood molestation, they don't even fucking realize what they're doing. They're just distracting themselves with something else. You know, I think we do shit like that all the time.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
paranoid is a good thing. It's for real, it is. I mean, the experience of being paranoid when you smoke weed, it's to get you to look at yourself. It's to get you to look at life. It's you're not looking at it all as clearly as you could. And those jolts of perception you misinterpret as paranoia. Like, what you're doing is just dealing with the information that's already been there. Just the fact that you're this fleshy, temporary, soft, mushy creature that is literally connected with nothing above your head except gases and air, and then fucking space, and above that there's asteroids and planets and fucking giant nuclear explosions and suns, and it's all right there. And you're just this thing that doesn't exactly know what it's doing, is kind of like going along with the flow of everybody else and sitting in traffic like everybody else, hoping that someone of us is like guiding this thing. But they're not. No one's guiding shit. And that is, if you're not thinking about that, if you haven't addressed that as a human being, and you start eating fucking pot brownies, that shit will club you over the head. You'll freak out. You'll be scared.
I have no idea from city to city, town to town,
what life really
how
is.
representative this is to your
marijuana will expose the
I could just say that between Los Angeles and Eugene, Oregon, where I live,
that's the problem. We are living life like it is a movie because we really are programmed by.
Do you see all those people on the street? You see how stretched the city services are to help people who are falling out of the middle class into poverty? Do you see how little we do for the poverty question? Do you see how low on the totem pole it is in terms of a political concern for either party? This is a growing, horrible problem in the United States of America that you may think is not going to affect you because you're doing okay and you're one of the hard-working people who went ahead and got yourself an education and put time into a career and you saved your money and all that, so you're going to be fine, and those other people, had they done a better job of preparing for life and everything.
GoldenDebate.com, Golden Debate Show. Open minds, not empty ones. Use knowledge and power.
Knowledge is power and key.
Where's the consumer
spending? Whoa, I cut you, kid.
Word, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, I should have sold it now.
Levels where we're all making some money. Right?
Word.
Where's the consumer spending? Consumer spending is a function of prosperity amongst your people. And we have gone down on the prosperity level. And we are continuing to drop. And it is becoming a bigger and bigger problem. And we're talking about man-made political problems that will go away in a week. And all I hear, the only thing I hear about these people who are suffering so badly right now, comes from people who want to make them suffer more. What is this cutting off of food stamps you hear from the government and the Republicans? This is more of a Republican thing, let's be honest here. The cutting off of food stamps, and you'll hear them say something like, more people are using food stamps under Obama, blah, blah, blah. And you want to say, wait a minute. People are using food stamps because they aren't making enough money. The problem is that our people are not making enough money, not that they're forced to use food stamps because they don't have enough money. And what's interesting is to hear the two Democrat and Republican standard lines about this, because they both are just flawed. The Democrats will say things like, well, you need to get these people into job training programs and re-technify them and all these kind of things. And the Republicans will say things like, well, look, these people have cell phones, and they have satellite. I mean, the poor
so
now
they can
isn't
listen
what
to you,
hashtag,
people
aren't starting
not hashtag tone, hashtags.
And a lot of them have made their choices and ended up where they end up and this and that.
But there's a reason. There's a reason.
To me,
there's a reason for this.
That's a very
There's a reason education sucks. It's the same reason that will
Prior and Carlin are my two favorite
It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because
go in there, and you can't go there no fucking more to the internet.
I'm telling you about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media news, all the big media companies. So they control just about all the news and information
this
you
is
get
King
here.
Midas,
They got
and
you
you're
by
listening
the
to
balls.
the right here, by the way.
They spend billions of dollars every year.
Word, but think about
lobbying,
that. This is George Carlin
lobbying
speaking, what, the 70s?
to get what
this
they
might be
want.
actually the 90s,
Well, we
late
know
90s,
what they
just
want.
kinda
They
right
want
before
more
it.
for themselves
Yeah,
and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later. Because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody.
So another comedian I kind of like, I got
Good,
you into
honest,
him, is
hardworking,
Joey Diaz.
white-collar, blue-collar,
Yeah,
He's in
he's
Redmond.
amazing.
Yeah, Fat Tony.
Good,
So we'll get
honest,
into this clip too, and then we'll be done with the
hardworking
comedian
people
shit, but I
continue
find him
to
kind of
modest
interesting.
teens, continue to elect
Hey
these rich
folks, we're sponsored
cocksuckers.
today by
Don't give a
Audible.
fuck.
Get a free audiobook download at audiblepodcast.com/WTF. This is Mark Maron. I am the host. Today, Joey Diaz. Joey Coco Diaz is on the show today.
Saw that. Like, people talk about the weed in California now. I'm that old that I saw how cocaine
Yo, this is King Midas, and you're listening to The Golden Show.
Acid.
It's King
That's
Midas
Pink Floyd,
certified.
that type of shit. The
message is clear. Yeah, everybody nuts.
And if you sniffled, you were fucking, it puts you into a different level. It's like basketball players that put glasses on now to look intellectual, and they have 20/20 vision because they look intellectual. That's what cocaine was in the 80s. If you did that, you were better. See, cocaine wasn't sold on a drug. It was sold on it made you, it elevated you as a human being. That's how they got you. You didn't pay more than, you were broke.
Yeah, I remember a kid, my cousin, my mother's cousin, he was in the fashion business, and at that time, like, they pull it right out the table. You know, with older people there, they do a fucking bump, and they didn't give a shit. And also, like, there was, do you remember, like, of course you do, like, when you go into a place, you didn't have any blow, and then you just be at a bar in a town you don't know, and you kind of like, someone's got to have it. And you see some guy just go, and you be like, oh, that's a guy, that's a guy. And 9 times out of 10, it wasn't the guy, and you still go over there trying to talk. So what do you got going on? What are you talking about? You don't got nothing.
Terrible. So I'd see Flacco on the corner. I'd pull over. What do you got? So one night he gave me this Coke rock. I didn't know what it was. I took it home. I'm trying to chop it up. I got fucking sick. I got dizzy. And my buddy's like, no, that's not Coke. That's crack, you fucking dummy. And then I went back to Colorado in 85, and I was clean and sober, and I started making my way around, and all of a sudden I started, cocaine was $1,800 an ounce in Snowmass. And my buddies, I'm talking to them on the phone, they're getting it for $800 an ounce. So I said, fuck it. I might as well
Space is too scary most of the time.
I'm bringing it back. So I started
Very
doing that
weird that we're on a fucking rock flying through the universe. And it hardly ever comes up. Everybody wants to talk about Brad and Angelina's baby. Oh my God, it's got like the best bone structure of all time, probably. Sure. Nobody wants to talk about that. We're on a fucking rock flying through space. Above you is the craziest thing you could ever look at. You hardly ever look at it. You know how weird that is? People will take trips to see shit that's not nearly as interesting. Like, people will travel to the Grand Canyon and then tell you have to go. You ever talk to those assholes? Like, dude, never been? Never been to the canyon? Bro, fucking drop everything you do and fucking go there right now. Trust me, it is a life-changing experience. It is so magnificent that when you stand there and you look out, it instantly puts your whole life into perspective, and you realize what a small role you really play in this life. Really? Wow. Hey, how about all that shit? Those are light bulbs, motherfucker! Those are gigantic nuclear explosions billions of miles away, and it goes on forever. Do you know what forever means? That means this whole universe of hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of solar systems, might just be a part of one atom. It's in the cell of the balls of another guy who lives in another universe. And it goes on and on and on and on and on, and there's no end ever! And you're looking at a fucking ditch. You took a 6-hour donkey ride to the bottom of a ditch. Fuck you, stupid! Thank you very much for coming out, San Francisco!
And if you're not ready, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a poor little me. And since you're all here and engaged in this sort of inquiry and listening to this sort of lecture, I assume that you're all on the process of waking up. Or else you're teasing yourselves with some kind of flirtation with waking up, which you're not serious about. But I assume maybe you are, not serious but sincere, that you are ready to wake up. So then, when you're in the way of waking up and finding out who you really are, what you do is what the whole universe is doing at the place you call here and now.
OMG!
LMNOP.
I'm tripping out!
The universe is doing in the same
Dead
way that
space,
the wave
start off.
is something that the whole ocean is doing.
Down there in one of
The
those
real
catacombs. This other guy, what it looks like, I don't know. This don't make no sense, baby.
The real deep down you is the whole universe. So then, when you die, you're not going to have to put up with everlasting non-existence, because that's not an experience. A lot of people are afraid that when they die, they're going to be locked up in a dark room forever. And sort of undergo that. But one of the most interesting things in the world, this is a yoga, this is a way of realization. Try and imagine what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Think about that. Children.
No, I don't think your back is for her.
It's one of the great wonders of life.
You're disconnected from your brain to your cerebellum. Same shit.
And if you think long enough about
that, but then keep it golden around here.
You will find out, among other things, that it'll pose the next question to you. What was it like to wake up after having never gone to sleep? That was when you were born. You see, you can't have
found
an
out that
experience
babies like to sleep a lot. Why?
Nature abhors a vacuum.
So they can grow and regenerate.
The only thing that can happen is the same experience, or the same sort of experience as when you were born.
Yes, sir.
The message is clear.
In other words, we all know very well that after people die, other people are born. And they're all you. Only you can only experience it one at a time. Everybody is I. You all know you're you. And wheresoever beings exist throughout all galaxies, it doesn't make any difference. You are all of them. I think, awakening. And when they come into being, that's you coming into being. You know that very well. Is a re-examination of our common sense.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
We've got all sorts of ideas built into us, which seem unquestioned, obvious, and our speech reflects it. Communist phrases. Face the facts as if they were outside you, as if life was something you simply encountered as a foreigner. Face the facts. Our common sense has been rich.
The message is clear.
Yo, this is King Midas, and you're listening to the Golden Show. It's King Midas certified. Golden.
And aliens in this world
Is that
And
really
this
where they
is
should go?
terribly
Hell
plausible.
yeah. I don't know about that camp. Golden Debate Show and the Golden Show.
Simply because
Yes.
it's what we're used to.
Stay golden,
That's
yo.
the only reason.
Earlymorningmob.com.
But when you really start questioning this,
Jennifer Love Hewitt's
Say
perhaps
that-
best known for her role in the 1999
Everybody
television
does.
series I Know What You Did Last
I thought you
Summer.
were gonna say
This
Jennifer
was
Love
accused
Hewitt
by a
is a
woman of
spy.
being part of a satanic secret society. A woman who stalked her and sent her death
The
threats
Golden
and was
Show.
arrested
It's golden.
on multiple charges and sentenced to have a psychological evaluation. This woman, Diane Napolis, who confronted the actress on numerous occasions, accusing her of all sorts of heinous crimes, along with being a part of a satanic secret society, clearly showing what happens when people come down with a celebrity sickness or Illuminati insanity. This story is quite old, dating back to the early 2000s, but I thought I would point it out because we're seeing a rash of Illuminati insanity outbreaks amongst people who have their celebrity obsessions and have completely lost touch with reality. People like the man in Oklahoma who tried to kidnap a 2-year-old child in a Walmart for the Illuminati. A news story that
I'm joined today by economist
all
Pavlina
references of the
Cherneva. She is
Illuminati
assistant
scrubbed,
professor of economics at
from the
Bard
original
College and a
reporting,
research
which I
scholar
have
at the
screenshots
Levy
of,
Economics
which I did a video
Institute.
on
It's really
in the
great to
past.
have you today. You know, we've spoken
Other
about
people
the
like this Virginia
Swiss
rapper
idea
who
of
may
an
have heard of,
income
shot his
guarantee, and
friend,
you have a video in
hoping
which
that
you
it
actually
was an
discuss the
Illuminati
idea of a
sacrifice.
job guarantee. So let's kind of start most broadly to begin with. What is the general idea of the job guarantee?
Yes, sure. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. The job guarantee is a policy that basically is an employment safety net. We have
We'll ride this one out. We're almost done with the
safety
first show. We have another
The one
Golden
that's
Debate show, and then we
is
got a
an
Golden Show
employment
for
safety
that
net
ass,
to
so
those
stay
who
tuned.
want
Like
to
watch
work
and download.
and do not
Rolling
wish
road.
to take unemployment insurance or various other income support options. So basically, it's an ongoing program. It's not just a program that we put in place today, we phase out tomorrow, so that the economy recovers and then it's shut down. It's actually an employment safety net that is an ongoing, because the unemployment problem is an ongoing problem.
So let's talk about the logistics of that. Where do the jobs come from? Who creates the jobs? Who determines what person is assigned particular jobs, etc.?
Okay, so there are a number of proposals on how you could run this. The one that I prefer is that it's a federally funded program, the way safety nets are funded, but they are locally administered, locally run. And in particular, I've argued for a strong role for the nonprofit, traditional nonprofit sector and the nonprofit social entrepreneurial ventures. So basically, you have a policy that says the following. If you would like to work, you've been looking for work, you can't find employment, we make a promise that we will find you a decent job at a decent wage benefit package in the social services sector. So what you could do is simply scale up work that's already existing on the ground, work that's already being done by nonprofits and these various nonprofit social entrepreneurial ventures, because they actually deal with very specific needs, and they deal with them in a sense, in a counter-cyclical manner. They need to do more work when times are bad, and they do less work when times are good.
So this is interesting, and the one that comes to mind is here in New York City, for example, the foster care system is drastically understaffed. There is just an incredible need for people to work cases within the foster care system as advocates, etc. And it stands to reason that if times are bad, that need might increase. However, there's just no funding. The city and state have no funding to hire people, so those are jobs that are needed, but there is no funding for. So there the question becomes, who funds it? Is the federal government simply paying this wage out of their pocket, so to speak?
This may concern.
Yes.
Whom funds it?
It's
it
it's
down.
a program that will be federally funded, but then run by states or localities, as you suggest. So it's important that the federal government funds this, just like with any social safety net. It doesn't jeopardize the existence of the social safety net when the federal government funds it, where states can run into real trouble with their budgets, and they have balanced budget amendments, various other reasons why they actually are not
Triple H or
able to
DX. I got this
sustain
stuff.
these programs. So we federally fund Social Security, Medicare, various other programs. So the job guarantee provides both. It provides the funding, but also it provides the staff, the manpower that is necessary to staff all these various projects that
Summer League champion.
When the New Deal
12 game up, winner league still champion.
About 80% or
MVP,
more
podcaster
of the expenditures was
producer
on
of the
wages
year.
and benefits.
Golden.
And there are other programs that we could look to where we could see that a large portion of the funding is dedicated to wages. You could do some funding of materials. You could do a public-private partnership where the nonprofits contribute to the resources. For example, they can contribute with the place of work, with the infrastructure they already have for the execution of these projects.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the gripes that the American right would have with such a proposal. You know, I get emails all the time when we discuss unemployment insurance, which is that it is essentially insurance for the lazy. And this was one of the criticisms of the Swiss guaranteed income proposal. If you had a guaranteed job program like the one we're talking about here, would this completely eliminate unemployment insurance? Because if you are unemployed and can't find a job, the government gives you a job and therefore eliminate that entire structure, or would it be in addition to that?
It's like a Royal Rumble match.
Okay, it is in addition to that.
So they're going to give you less than minimum wage, or are they going to?
It's important to understand what the JG, the job guarantee, is not.
I
First,
think it's
it's not a
something like
welfare.
they give you
it's
a
not
fixed
just a
rate,
handout,
say 30,
and
40
it's not
grand
a
a year.
workfare. You know, we're going to take away your unemployment insurance, and we're going to give it to you only if you work in this project. Absolutely not. This is an assurance. This is an option. In addition to the various programs that we already have in existence. And there is an argument to be made about beefing up some of
You must help yourself, son.
Make a
Stay
very
golden.
strong argument
is the real
for boosting
golden,
Social
help yourself,
Security,
help your neighbors.
veteran benefits. But this is an additional program that provides an employment option to those who wish to work for the public purpose. It's not a workfare where people are mandated to work in
So then the question becomes, what are the broad macroeconomic implications of such a program? If you are adding an expenditure for the government, are you making it up somewhere else? How are you taking it in? How is this funded in a way that is not going to? And again, we can have the debate over whether the absolute amount of deficit is or is not a problem. But factually speaking, will this be a deficit neutral, negative, or positive program?
All right, so the way that I would
hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Of the success of the program.
ghost and the darkness
The funding is
Peace, everybody. Hasta luego, everybody.
Yes.
Go
Have a good one, people. Stay golden.
We got a second Golden Debate Show. I'm hoping you'll check it out. I hope this wasn't
So
sorry or
just
anything, but
like
let's
Social
get it go.
Security, if we commit to a program like this, it will be funded.
This is King Midas.
This is only the first half. We still got the second half to go before we win these golden titles.
Evolve through time. Is that
Rolling down.
really bad, and that
Yo, this is King Midas, and you're listening to the Golden Show. It's King
But when
Midas
that
certified.
growth comes, people are then able to transition to better paying jobs, better employment opportunities in the private sector, then expenditure on the very program shrinks. And so the deficit, as it may be, will likely shrink.
And not only that, presumably then tax revenues increase because those individuals are moving to jobs that pay more, and therefore that may actually increase the amount of tax revenue for the government.
Well, that would matter very much for states, absolutely. You know, states very much depend on tax revenue. For the federal government, actually doesn't fund itself per se out of tax revenue. It is
Per se. See you on the other side. We got a Golden Show, which is our music show right after this other Golden Debate Show.
Yep.
For its various programs, but it's very important for the
Stay
states,
tuned for the
absolutely,
second
that
half of the
economic
Golden
growth,
Debate Show live with Carl Calzone. Tito Tortellini, EddieMotormouth.com. Like, comment, share, download,
You're listening to the
share the
Golden
wealth.
Show.
Stay golden.
It's King Midas certified.